Welcome everyone. Just as I said, we need the strap. We're going to do a little bit of strappy stuff. Work a lot on the hamstrings and hip flexors this morning. So first, we'll just sit in Sukhasana. So comfortable seated pose. We'll just start with a breath or just a breath. So Nadi Shodhana, which is just bringing the fingers there. Block the right nostril, inhale through left. Block left, release right, exhale. Inhale right. Block right, release left. And then just continue through in your time. So just clearing that frontal lobe. And then releasing when you finish through the right nostril. Bring the hands onto the knees, shoulder blades together, sternum up, and just go into deep breathing, so both nostrils. Filling up the lungs as much as possible. And then releasing the air nice and slow. Just 4 or 5 of these. Then when you're ready, we're going to come into a forward bend, but in Sukhasana. So keeping the knees where they are, and then just bring the hands onto the floor. Once you bring the hands onto the floor, just bring the shoulder blades together and chin away from the chest, and you'll just feel that length through the spine, and just walk your hands slowly forward. You can have a bolster in front of you if you want to put the bolster down. The idea is to try and keep the seat bones on the floor and just come down. You're going to be nice and stiff. This is a really nice forward fold to start off with because we're opening up the hip area, but we're also working on the joints of the knees and the ankles, as well as the lower back. And you can stretch the shoulders out as much as you want by reaching forward. And just allow yourself to settle as much as you can in this pose. So working with the breath to slowly get deeper, slowly get deeper. So we're just preparing ourselves with the pranayama, with the life force, with the breath. Simple pose. Even though it mightn't feel simple, but it is quite challenging. Just continue working with the breath. Just going to hold here another minute. So you should feel a really good stretch in this one through the hip flexors, through the hamstrings. You might even feel a little bit uncomfortable in ankles and the knees. It's just because we're really blocking that blood flow off. And when you're ready, slowly walk back up. We're going to stay in this position. And then bring the hands behind. So interlace all 10 fingers. Now this time we're going to make sure that the shoulder blades are together. Okay, so really hands as far back as possible. So we're really trying to reach back as far as we can. And once you get to the furthest point, then start folding forward. You don't have to come all the way. This is a stretch in the shoulders, but we're just going to use the back again. Come forward. Beautiful. Just work with that breath. Just work with moving forward. And the main thing is the shoulders here, so you don't really have to get too far forward. It's just reaching back as far as you can go. And just another 20 seconds here. And then when you're ready, release. Slowly come up, and once you're up, release the hands. Just give the arms a bit of a shake. So now what we're going to do, we brought the shoulder blades together, we're going to bring them apart. So if we just bring our fingers in between our toes as best we can. I've got really muscly fingers, so I can't fit them all in my toes. I can. So then do is roll the shoulders forward. If you see what I'm doing, rolling forward and then coming forward. And you can massage the feet if you like. I'm just working with the breath. Just a minute now. And when you're ready, slowly, slowly work your way up. Okay, so nice forward bends there, stretching through the shoulders. So we'll move into a back bend. Just make sure that your strap is close by. So we're going to come into supported bridge. I'm going to do a deeper back bend a bit later. Just work on a nice, easy one first. So bringing the block or whatever you've got underneath that tailbone. And then just stretch the legs out if you can. Just remember this time in the morning, there's a lot of tightness, so just take it easy working into these poses. So 3 minutes in this nice, relaxing back bend. Just making sure you bring the shoulder blades together, chin towards the chest, palms facing up, arms away from the body. Just continually focusing on the breath. There's a lot of stillness there now, which is awesome. So just don't lose focus of the breath. Trying to calm the mind, relax the mind. Don't worry about all the thoughts that fly through your mind. Just don't connect to the thoughts. Don't get involved in the conversation. And when you're ready, bend the knees up. Lift the hips up, removing your prop to the side. Slowly bring the hips down. You should feel really nice there now. Stretch the legs out. Just come into Shavasana before we move into a few different strap stretches. So we're going to be using the strap for the next 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 poses. So when you're ready, just grab the strap and open it up as far as it can go. Or if you've got a towel, just make sure that it's quite long, quite comfortable for you to use. And we're just going to hold the strap underneath the right foot. And first, we're just going to come out to the right-hand side. So just using the right hand to go as high as you can up the strap and just allow that leg to come down as far as you can go. You're going to feel the left hip lifting up. Once your leg stops, bring that hip back, and then that's your spot there. It's right there. So holding there. If you need to rest your leg on anything, you can use a block or a cushion or just making sure you're feeling that stretch through the hip flexor and through the hamstring as well. If you want to go deeper into the hamstring, you can just push that heel away, toes towards the shins. Don't lose that tension between the strap and your hand. Slowly you'll start feeling the right leg just dropping closer to the floor. Your left hip is going to stay on the floor. Just another 30 seconds to go. Connect to the breath. Get as deep as you can right now. Keep that left hip on the floor. Push the right heel away. Right toes towards the shins. Come down a little bit deeper with the right leg. Slowly coming up. Just hold at the top, then swap hands. So you've got the option here to come into cat pulling the tail. So if you want to bend that bottom leg up and hold it, you can. Or just keep the leg straight and bring that right leg over the top this time. Cracking and crunching. And you'll get a different stretch than you did on the previous one, but you're still working the hamstring. And if you've got the bottom foot, you can pull it up. If you haven't got it, it doesn't really matter. Try and keep those shoulder blades on the floor and push that right heel away as far as you can go. Now you're getting really, really deep. So you feel it's a nice, deep hamstring stretch. By the time we get to the seated hamstring stretches, you're going to be very open. And you're going to get a really nice extension through the back. So our main focus in this class is using the strap to get in deep to the hamstrings so we can get the tilt of the pelvis correct. So we're going to get in deeper again to the lower back and hamstrings. You'll feel pretty awesome after this class. So slowly come up, bring that right leg up. Keep the strap around the right foot. And you've got the option here to come into hammock pose, which is bringing the strap around the back of the head and coming back, or holding the strap. You can hold the strap with both hands if you like, because that right hand starts to get a bit tired. The left hand, so you can actually hold it with both, but make sure that tension's there to come back, and you're going to get deeper into the glute here with this stretch. So coming into this stretch now. So if anyone's got lower back issues, after this class, they'll be gone. You won't feel them. And that's because we're just working completely on releasing all the tightness, all that stagnant energy through the lower half of our body, so through the limbs and through the pelvis. And generally, that's where our back issues come from, unless you've got bulging discs and stuff. It's a little bit different, but you're still going to get space because we're going to be doing forward bends with that. So keep pushing that heel away, toe towards the shins. It's going to get a little bit deeper into the Achilles and behind the knee. Just got a minute to go. It's going to be 6-minute hamstring stretch, as well as hips, either side. So last 20 seconds, get as deep as you can with those inhales. And when you're ready, just unhook. We're going to relax that right leg, switch to the left leg. That right leg's going to feel awesome hitting the ground. So then come straight into the left side. And so we bring our left foot away from the body first. So grab that strap with the left hand, bring it away from the body. Let the leg drop as far as it can. And once your right hip lifts, push that hip back down onto the floor and you'll feel the left leg come up, and that's good. And that's the place you need to be. As soon as that hip is back on the floor, that's where you need to be. And then push the right heel away, bring the toes towards the shins. Just work with that breath. Just continually focus on the breath. You're not going to connect to any of the thoughts that are going through the mind. You don't need to be anywhere than in your yoga space right now, in the headspace for yoga. And when you're ready, slowly coming up. Then switching hands. Again, you've got that choice to bring the right foot up and under and grab it with the left hand and come across, or just keep the right leg straight and come across. But make sure that the shoulder blades are on the floor. As you come across, push that left heel away, right toes towards you. You should feel a really good stretch. So we're getting the twist of the spine, whereas the last one was opening of the hips. We're getting a stretch on the outside of the hips here, deep into the hamstring. The more you push that heel away, the deeper you get into the Achilles and up into the calf. So always try and get that head nice and straight and bring the chin towards the chest. It's just going to give you that length through the spine. It's what we're after, even though we're focusing on hamstrings and hips. We want to lengthen through the spine. So anytime you're laying on the floor like this, with no props behind you, always bring the chin to the chest. And when you're ready, slowly come up. That was a quick 2 minutes, that one. And then come into hammock pose, or holding the strap up as high as you can hold it, that right leg straight, making sure that you've got that tension. This is a different stretch in the hamstring completely. So make sure you've got that tension coming back towards the body with the left leg. And if you're in hammock, just working your head to the floor. You've got to shorten the strap. Hamstrings are really loose, aren't it? Because I'm getting to the floor really easily. That's better. So keep pointing that heel up towards the ceiling, bringing the toes back towards the shins. So 2 minutes here. We spent a good 20 minutes stretching the hamstrings on the floor. So we're going to be really ready to get into two of the major hamstring stretching poses and back stretching poses is Janu Shavasana and Paschimottanasana. So last 30 seconds. So try in this last 30 seconds to push that heel as far away from the body as you can go. Bring those toes as close to the shins as possible. It's the deepest stretch you'll get there. It's going to prepare you for the next pose really well. So slowly come out of the pose. Just put the strap to the side for a little while. Just while we lay in Shavasana and allow that blood to flow through the hips, especially through the hamstring. Feel it. I can feel it going through now, right into the foot. It's a really nice sense. It happens really quickly, but it pushes through. And you feel that sensation, and then that relaxed feeling in the leg. So when you're ready, we're going to come into the next pose while we're laying on our back, just for 2 minutes. And it's Happy Baby. So just bring the soles of the feet up, grab the outsides or the big toe, or wherever you're comfortable grabbing. Behind the knees is nice and comfortable. You can even interlace the fingers and have a nice relaxed position like that. Or if you can grab the outside of the feet, you're going to get more opening of the hips. So just 2 minutes just to get into those hips a little bit more. I just want, the aim here is to get into these next couple of poses as deep as you've ever got into them. And I haven't taught this class for over a year. And I just remember the last time I taught it, everyone getting into the next two poses pretty deep. So hopefully that'll happen to you today. So last 20 seconds, just try and lengthen that spine as much as you can. So bringing the tailbone to the floor, chin to the chest, pulling the knees down. And then when you're ready, just release. Stretch the legs out once more. We'll allow that blood to push through those hips, hip flexors first before we get up. So when you're ready, bend the knees up. Give yourself a nice hug and then roll up to a seated position. So again, having that strap or whatever you're using nice and handy. These are going to be a bit longer hold poses. So we're going to come into Paschimottanasana first. Janusharasana. So foot and place it into the left thigh. Try and have that left leg as straight as possible. Okay, so we want it nice and straight. Then we're all going to use the strap. You're going to get way more out of it than just reaching over like this if you use the strap. So grab the strap, wrap it around the bottom of the foot. And then remember the aim of this is head to knee, but we need stomach to thigh. To get stomach to thigh, we need to have that pelvic tilt. Okay, so to do that, shoulder blades together, chin up, chest up. So we're lengthening through the spine, and straight away I can feel the pelvis ready to tilt. And so I pull, and you feel that pelvis tilting. You feel the stomach coming towards the thighs. Come down as far as you can, then come closer to the foot with the strap, as close as you can go. And then just work that head down and start looking at the knee. And keep pulling on the strap. Now, this is a pretty intense pose. We're using a strap and blink, but you're going to get a really good stretch with this. So get into the position you can get into and get as much stillness as possible. Every now and again, you probably want to release the strap and then pull again. So again, no difference. What we're doing is pushing that heel away and the toes towards the shin. The difference, what we're getting here, is the stretch in the back. Okay, so our hamstrings, my hamstrings just really open. Blood is flowing through there, it's amazing. So I can pull as deep as I can go. Now I'm getting really deep in my back, deep stretch. Beautiful. And eventually you might need the strap, and I've just got rid of mine because my stomach's on my thigh and I can reach around my foot. And so now I can get deeper into the pose even again. But the strap's really, really good to use until you can get to that point. Keep working with the breath. Keep persisting with this pose. You're getting an awesome stretch here. So you've got just over a minute to go. So the body heat should be building up now in this sort of pose. Because you're really using a lot of tension in the hands, in the arm, as you're getting a deep stretch. And eventually you just come flat onto the leg like I'm coming now. Like I was never anywhere near this when I first learned to do this. So just bear with it and it'll happen. And when you're ready, slowly release, slowly coming up. Just make sure you come up nice and slow. Switching legs. Allow that blood to flow through that right knee. Always give it a few taps to wake it up a bit. Again, leg straight out, right leg. Grab the strap, wrap it around. So remember, we want to get head to knee. But before we get that, we want stomach to thigh. So inhale, lengthen through the spine, shoulder blades together, chin up, chest up. That's the key to getting deep into this pose. And once you start pulling there, your hip will just jolt back a little bit as you fold forward. Stomach to thigh. If you haven't got stomach to thigh, keep working stomach to thigh. You need to do nothing else, but just work stomach to thigh. Probably one of our worst habits. What happens with people in yoga is we all want to try and get to that end result straight away. But if you just break the pose down, like breaking this pose down to stomach to thigh, until you get stomach to thigh, you can't go any further. There's nothing you can do. So just work on that stomach to thigh. You're getting the best stretch you can get by just working on stomach to thigh. You might think it's years away before it happens, but it's going to happen. You just continue with it. I thought it was actually impossible. So. And when stomach to thigh, you work head to knee. Once you can get head to knee, you can bring elbows to floor, either side of the shin. And then lift heel off floor. You can eventually have your block at the bottom of the foot. Reach around and pull even more, because then you're going to start getting your head towards the toes, but rolling underneath to the knee. Just a minute and 30 to go. Should be getting a really deep stretch now. And as I said, it doesn't matter how far you're into this pose, as long as you just work with those things what I just mentioned, stomach to thigh. Just keep thinking stomach to thigh. Keep looking at your knee, keep thinking stomach to thigh. And the only reason you can't get stomach to thigh is because you're too tight in the hips. So to tilt that pelvis, it's just impossible because of the tightness. So once you release that tightness, that stomach will come to the thigh. Then you'll progress through the pose quite quickly. The last couple of breaths here. And when you're ready, slowly working up. So bring both legs out. Let the blood flow through the knees. So give your legs a bit of a shake. So now we're going to move into the deepest of the stretches, Paschimottanasana. Before we do that, bend the knees up, toes and heels touch, knees up, and just come into windshield wipes. Just going to release those hips a little bit from, particularly if you're still working your stomach to thighs, your hips will be nice. They'll be a lot looser, but we need to reset the hips. Go into that again. And then come back to center. Okay, Paschimottanasana. I just want to show you how to get into it properly with a strap. So legs together, toes and heels touch. Bring the strap around. And you're going to pull on the strap. But what we want to do is we want these hips to go as far back as possible. And then that's getting that tilt there, okay? Again, stomach to thighs, head to toes, okay? So that's what we're after. So to do that, inhale, lengthen through the spine. I'm just going to go a little bit shorter. Lengthen through the spine, stomach to thighs. Just watch my hips. I'm just going to push them back and watch how close I get to my toes. That's just pushing the hips back, stomach to thighs, and working head to toes. So when you're ready, just go into that. So grab the strap where you need to be. And once you bring the shoulder blades together, chin up, chest up, and start coming forward, once you stop there, once you can't go forward anymore, that's when you just move those heels and hips back. And you'll come a little bit closer, and a little bit closer, and a little bit closer. That's where the fold happens. And eventually you can get rid of the strap. You can grab your big toes. That's actually Paschimottanasana, is grabbing the big toes. Because we're in it for a longer time, you can grab around the feet. This is probably the best hamstring and back stretch all in one. Keep pushing those heels away, bringing the toes to the shins. So just bear with it. Beautiful. Just keep working that stomach to the thighs. Just continually work stomach to thighs. Your focus here should be the big toes. That's your focus. Because eventually you want your head to touch those toes. So keep working with it, keep working those hips back. Don't lose the focus on it. You've got 2 minutes to go and you're going to get so much out of it. The work we've done right to get to this point now, this is where you start moving, progressing forward, particularly in muscle memory. You haven't got muscle memory in your hamstrings, but you have in your hips, in your hip flexors. So this will just push that point to the muscle memory. So next time you get there, a lot easier. So you've got 1:20 to go. So bear with it, push the heels away.
Keep quiet.
Yeah.
Oh.
So. A minute to go. You get a nice shavasana after this one. Fold. Last couple of breaths. And when you're ready, slowly come out of the pose. You can put the strap to the side, you don't need it now. And just lay on your back. And just allow that blood to flow through. Again, I can just feel it go straight to the feet. Straight to the feet. It's almost like the energy wants to push out of the feet. So there you go, that's a hamstring session 101. So your hamstrings have probably never felt as good. When I got taught this session in 2013 by an Iyengar yoga teacher in India. And we were in the poses a lot longer than that, but I'll never forget how I felt after it. So just enjoy the feeling, just that lightness. I feel so light in my legs now. But also just remember, you're giving yourself space in the back, space in the spine, by allowing yourself to get deeper into the pose because of the opening of the hamstrings. So we've only got 2 more poses, just a couple minutes in each. So when you're ready, bring the knees into the chest. Have a squeeze, if you can, squeeze them. And then roll up. I'm going to come into a back bend and a forward bend to finish, and then we'll just top the class off. Nice easy ones. So we're going to come into melting heart. So remember, melting heart, we want the hips up. So child's pose is back here. Melting heart is chest on floor, chin on floor, hips up. Should feel really nice to get into that. But you just remember, you can always use the bolster. It's really nice just to have something in front of you, and that'll get the hips up. You can even bring your forehead onto the bolster, hips up. Or you can have your forearms on the ground, working the chest down, or reach forward and stretch the the shoulders as well. So just coming into this, you should after such a lengthy workout of the hamstrings. I've got no tightness at all now in that area, so it's really good. So keep that breath. Keep those hips up. Get that real nice bend in that back. And when you're ready, just help yourself up, nice and slow. Just come up onto all fours and just work through a little bit of cat-cow. Only a few rounds. You should feel nice and loose around the hips. My hips are just flowing right now. And then bring the big toes together, knees out wide, hips back to the heels. Nice forward bend to finish off with child's pose. So just the final minute, bring those hips back as far as you can go. And just dedicate this last minute to the breath, just the breath, you and the breath. And then slowly, slowly work your way up. Flipping yourself over, coming into the final pose, Shavasana. Just allowing everything to completely relax, making sure you bring the chin towards the chest, shoulder blades together. Arms away from the body, palms facing up, feet apart, toes just drop to the sides. Really important to completely rest now, just completely allow the body to readjust. Bring your focus down to the toes, the right hand side, the toes. Just feel the toes and the sole of the foot. And now feel where the heel is connected to the ground. On your right foot. And go back up to the big toe. Just visualize, focus the whole foot now. Relaxed. Toes pointing outwards. And relax. Go to the left foot, the big toes. Feel the big toe and the rest of the toes. Now go down to the left heel and feel where it touches the floor. Now be aware of the sole of the left foot, the entire left foot. Now just take a nice deep breath in, but as you breathe in, bring the air up from your big toe all the way to your hips. So just visualize filling up both legs full of prana. Once you get to your hips, just release the air. Now focus on the hips. Just visualize the hips. Visualize what your hips look like. Now feel the hips. Now where the buttocks is on the floor. So your glutes on the floor. And visualize that bony bit of the hips, at the top of the hips there, as your body faces up, pointing to the ceiling, those bony bits of the hips, of the pelvis. Just feel how relaxed you feel now from those bony bits all the way down to the toes. Feel how light you feel. Just feel the lightness. Now bring your awareness to the belly button. Just feel the belly button move up and down with each breath. And on your next deep inhale, you're going to bring the breath from your belly button all the way up to your throat. Once you get to your throat, exhale. Now just take the focus to the shoulder blades. Feel the shoulders on the floor. Feel where they touch the floor. Now bring the focus back to the throat. And as you inhale, you're going to breathe from the throat to the nostrils, as deep as you can go. That sound at the back of your throat. And breathe all the air out of the nostrils. And lastly, bring your focus to Chitta Kasha, so that space between the back of your forehead So roll your eyes towards the middle of the eyebrows without straining. With the eyelids closed, just have a look. Chitta-kasha, space, colours, shapes. And just relax the eyes. Go back to the breath. Feel the inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. And just go back to Chitta-kasha once more. See any change? Feel how relaxed you feel as you enter into Chitta-kasha. Relax the eyes once more. And then just give yourself a bit of thanks and praise for getting here this morning. And some positive things for body and mind. And just pass on a gratitude for someone, something in your life to be grateful for. And then when you're ready, start wiggling toes and fingers. And just roll to the right hand side. Take a breath on the right hand side. Working your way up into Sukhasana. And as usual, when you get to Sukhasana, just bring that deep breath in and let everything go. Thank you so much for being here this morning and allowing me to take you through the class. It was a pleasure to do so. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Namaste.